Gosh, we have to have a lot of skills as a real estate investor, don't we? I guess that really matters if you're a small operation, maybe you're a one-man show like I did for years. Keep it small, keep it all. I worked in a small market, and I did pretty much everything that I could do. Of course, when you move away, you're starting to buy things remotely. You have to depend on a team of people to get some things done for you. Things are a little bit different. But really, the reality is there are three main skills that you need as a real estate investor. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the Sub2Deals show. Hey, Sub2ers, I want to welcome you to this episode of the Sub2Deals show, where we talk about all things subject to. Now, occasionally we do talk about some other real estate investing topics, but it's always something to help you with your business. The sponsor for today's show is Kevin Strong with Strong Jacobs and Associates. Kevin has a loan modification course that is excellent support, very affordable course. And I think it's going to be pretty prominent in our business and what we do as the foreclosure moratoriums end here with COVID, and more people are having to pay the bank finally, and they're going to want to do something about their loan. So you guys give Kevin a call about that. So what are we talking about today, guys? We're talking about the skills that you need to be a successful real estate investor. And there are a lot of things that have to be done as investors. You can hire most of that stuff out. But in my opinion, okay, there are three core skills that you need to have as an investor. And this is going to be primarily for you guys that are doing a lot of this stuff yourself. It's, whether you're the keep it small, keep it all kind of person, or you just like to be in there and be very hands-on. Now, we've seen a lot of changes to real estate investing over the last, several years, where there are acquisitions managers and disposition managers and cold callers, and where people text 10,000 sellers a day. Just a lot of changes. And I think there's a lot of legislation that's going to change that. That's going to be coming up pretty soon. But these core skills are going to be important to you on some level, no matter where your business is. And the first one of these is the ability to generate leads. Because if you don't have any leads, obviously you don't have any sellers to talk to. You can't buy any houses. You can't do business. So how do you generate your leads? Well, some of that depends on your personality. Some of it's going to depend on your budget. If you're the kind of person that's terrified to talk to somebody, it's just very hard for you to pick up the phone, then obviously the phone's not going to be your best source for generating leads. Maybe you're a driving for dollars person. Maybe you just like to do mass texts. Maybe you're a direct mail sort of person or something like that. Maybe you need an acquisitions person to make your calls for you and talk to sellers and do those things. And again, it's going to depend on your budget. If you're just getting started, maybe you don't have a lot of money. You're going to have to get over that fear and get out there and talk to people and do some things. I like to tell my students that I feel like most people, especially in the beginning of their investing, they have one of two forms of currency. They either have time or they have money. Because what you'll find a lot of times is when you're just getting started and you're broke, maybe you have the time to do these things. But maybe when you're busy later, you have more income from your real estate and you can spend money getting people to do other things. Now, I've always enjoyed talking to people. I'm not by nature a super outgoing person, but I was in restaurant management for a long time. I had to be able to talk to customers. I had to be able to talk to employees. So talking to people just came kind of naturally, I guess, for me, and being able to do that. But I'll tell you this, you've got to be able to generate enough leads in your business to keep the deal flow. So always in the past, I've tried to have multiple ways to generate leads, whether that's outgoing or incoming. So those things may be something as simple as having business cards on me all the time that I left everywhere. I remember when my kids were small, I mean, they had their own supply that they would put out when we went out to places. If we went shopping or did other stuff, they would run all over the store and put business cards everywhere. So business cards, whether it's business cards, bandit signs, text messaging, direct mail, cold calling, always networking with real estate agents, networking with probate attorneys or divorce attorneys, just, and we've got a list in the Sub2 forum. I think it's 74 ways to generate leads. You guys go over there and check that out. But lead generation is number one. You've got to have ways to generate leads. So that's your first ninja skill that you'll need as an investor. Number two is the ability to negotiate. And I've always taken a little bit different approach on negotiating. Some people are very hardcore. They go into that thing with, trying to beat a seller down on the price and things like that. And I learned early on that Sub2 was what I wanted to do. That was going to be my main form of acquisition because I liked it. I mean, what's not to like? You take over payments on somebody else's financing. You don't have to go to the bank. If you've got lines of credit, you can use that for other stuff. And you can literally borrow millions and millions of dollars that someone else, signed for. So what's not to like? In that, I go into my discussions with sellers from a completely different angle than most people do. I'm not trying to beat people down on price. I'm trying to get to the root of whatever their motivation is. You can bet that if I'm talking to a seller, it's 99% certain that I already know when they bought the house, what they paid for it, what they currently owe, what their monthly payments are. I already know if I can work something out with these people that this is going to be a deal. So I already have all of that information. So really what I need to find out about now is what their motivation is. That's the key to negotiation for me. It's just really having a conversation with people. I'm actually, I have a coach right now. I have coaches too that's coaching me on a particular project that we're working on. And she says all the time, the fastest way to cash is through a conversation. And she's talking about something else, but we're talking about real estate, but it all applies. So having a conversation with that seller and trying to establish some rapport with them, have them like you and feel like they can talk to you. What you'll find out is a lot of the sellers that we deal with that are motivated by something. And it can be 1,000 different things. It could be a divorce, a death in the family, loss of a job, just anything, is that they're very open and willing to talk to people. In fact, you may be the only person they've had an opportunity to talk to. So for me, that's what negotiation's all about. It's really about listening. It's not so much about price and hammering them. I'm looking for an opening where I can say, Mr. Seller, if I were able to make your mortgage payments for you until I can find a buyer, is that something that would work? If they have a lot of equity and they're looking for cash, then, my question might be, well, Mr. Seller, if I could get you that $20,000 that you're needing now and make the payments on the house for you until I can find a buyer, is that something that would work? I already know the answer is yes before I even ask the question. And that makes negotiating really simple. Okay. There's one more ninja skill that, in my opinion, you need to be a successful real estate investor. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. We're going to let Kevin share some information with you about Strong Jacob and Associates. So we'll be right back.
Listen up, investors. Ever wanted to learn the right way to do a loan modification? Strong Jacob and Associates has a do-it-yourself course complete with text, video, and legal support. Learn the right way to lower monthly payments and add real value to a distressed seller while you improve your monthly cash flow by securing lower mortgage payments via loan modification. Don't delay. Visit www.preventforeclosure.us or give Kevin a call today at 253-753-9595.
Hey, Sub2ers, you guys give Kevin a call over there at preventforeclosure.us. Great guy, has a great course on loan modification and gives you actual one-on-one support with that thing so you can help those sellers out that need it. So anyway, so we're back to the 3 skills of a ninja real estate investor. And the final skill in the big 3, in my opinion, is the ability to structure a deal. Okay. So in other words, if you're talking to a seller and they've got a certain situation, how do you structure this deal where it works out for everybody involved? And that may be getting the seller some cash. It may be as simple as taking over their payments. But again, I go back to the second skill, which was negotiation. It's really all about listening to the seller and understanding what they need. Now, for us, virtually 100% of the time these days, we're looking at a situation where we can buy a house, get the deed, take over the payments, and we can give our seller cash. But we want to be able to get that equivalent in a down payment from our buyer. So let's say, for example, that I have a seller call me today with a house worth $300,000. They owe $250. If they can get 20, they'll walk away. I know I can take a $300,000 house and get at least a $30,000 down payment on it. So I know I can give 20 to my seller. I can get 30 from my buyer. I'm into a house with $10,000 in my pocket and cash flow. That's how things work for me. Now, what if my intent was to hold that house as a rental? How would I structure that? Well, that would either be bringing in a private money partner, or if I've got a line of credit that I can use, or whatever the case may be. But it's understanding how to structure deals so you can make those things work, and understanding how creative finance work lets you do a lot of things. I could bring a partner in on that deal and split the cash flow and split the back end. I could do a lot of different things, but having the knowledge to know several different ways to make a deal work is a ninja skill, and it's one that you really need to develop. Because if you're a one-trick pony in that regard, with what your buy is going to be, your exit's going to be, you only know one way to do it. If that doesn't work, I don't know what to do. Then a lot of times you'll miss out on a lot of deals that you could make money on. So what are the 3 ninja skills that a successful real estate investor needs? Number 1, you need to be able to generate leads. Number 2, you need to be able to negotiate. And number 3, you need to be able to structure deals to make it work for everybody involved. Guys, that's it for today's Sub2Deals show. We appreciate you being a listener. Give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to our show on the YouTube channel. So until next time, keep talking to sellers, and you will buy some houses.